It was funny, in the kind of way that makes you want to break something. The man who taught me what love felt like, the one whose name I whispered in secret when I was 16, was now on every billboard in Los Angeles. And the worst part? He pretended I didn't exist. I watched Ryan Carter's face on the giant screen across Sunset Boulevard, his perfect smile lighting up the city like he was born to own it. To the world, he was untouchable Hollywood's rising star. To me, he was just the boy who used to sneak into my room at midnight, the boy who kissed me breathless under the bleachers, the boy who swore he'd never leave. And then he did. The night Ryan told me he couldn't risk his career for us, I thought my chest might collapse in on itself. We were 22, broke, and still half children. But he had dreams, and a knave, stubborn, hopelessly in love believed our little world could be enough. It wasn't. He left with an apology I couldn't bear to hear, and I stayed behind, drowning in silence. That's when Ethan stepped back into my life. Ethan, my childhood friend. The boy who once chased me through cornfields in Ohio, who bandaged my knees when I fell, who knew my laugh before anyone else did. He wasn't glamorous. He wasn't the world's obsession. He was just there, solid, safe. And maybe that was why, on nights when the loneliness turned sharp, I let him hold me. The first time Ethan found me like that collapsed on the couch. An empty bottle of whiskey dangling from my Honda, didn't say a word. He just sat down beside me, pulled the glass from my fingers, and draped an arm over my shoulders. "You don't have to talk," he whispered, his voice low, steady. "Just breathe." I wanted to protest, to push him away, to tell him I wasn't weak. But his warmth seeped into me, grounding me. I broke then, silently, as tears slipped down my cheeks. Ethan didn't flinch. He just held me tighter. Nights blurred into weeks. Sometimes we'd sit on the rooftop of his tiny apartment, staring out at the city lights, sharing stories about nothing, our childhood, old teachers, the time he almost set his mom's kitchen on fire. Other nights, he'd let me fall asleep on his shoulder, my nightmares dissolving in the quiet rhythm of his breathing. But there were moments, fragile, dangerous moments, when I'd catch him looking at me. His gaze lingered too long, soft with something unspoken. I told myself not to read into it. Not after Ryan. Not again. The storm hit on a Thursday. Ryan came back. I didn't expect it. One moment I was locking up the bookstore where I worked. The next I turned and there he was leaning against the doorframe, sunglasses pushed into his hair, looking like every dream I'd ever had and every nightmare too. "Alex," he said, my name breaking in his throat. For a second, my heart betrayed me. It leapt, stupid and reckless, as if the years hadn't happened. But then the weight of his leaving crashed back, sharp and bitter. "What do you want?" I snapped. He winced. "I messed up." The words spilled out his regret, his loneliness despite the fame, the nights he thought of me. He wanted a second chance. He wanted us. And God, I hated him for it, because part of me still wanted him too. That night, I sat in Ethan's kitchen, my hands trembling around a mug of coffee. He listened as I told him everything, his jaw tightening with every word. Finally, he said quietly, "Do you love him?" I looked down. "I don't know." Silence stretched between us. Then Ethan pushed back his chair, stood, and walked toward me. His hand cupped my face, gentle, hesitant. "I do," he whispered. "I always have." My chest stuttered. The world tilted. And before I could think, before I could ruin it with logic, I kissed him. It wasn't a fireworks kiss. It wasn't cinematic or polished. It was raw, messy, desperate, the kind of kiss that tasted like years of waiting. His lips were warm, his hands trembling against my skin as if he was terrified I'd vanish. When we pulled back, his eyes searched mine. "Tell me I'm not just filling the space he left." "You're not," I whispered, and for the first time in years, I meant it. Ryan didn't take it well. He showed up again, anger burning under his skin, jealousy snapping in his words. For a moment, I thought he might fight Ethan right there in the street. But Ethan, steady as always, stepped in front of me. "You had your chance," he said, his voice calm but firm. "You don't get to break him twice." And Ryan, beautiful, tragic Ryan, just stood there, his eyes wet, before turning away. I watched him go, a part of me aching, but the larger part relieved. Months passed. Healing wasn't instant. Some nights, Ryan's ghost still lingered in my dreams. But Ethan was there through it all, quiet mornings with coffee, laughter spilling in grocery store aisles, his hand finding mine when I least expected it. One evening, as we lay tangled on his couch, the city humming outside the window, he whispered, "Do you ever regret it? That it's me, not him?" I turned, pressing my forehead to his. "Ethan, it was always you. I just didn't see it." He smiled then, soft and certain, and kissed me like home. Love isn't always grand gestures or perfect stories. Sometimes it's the boy who stays when everyone else leaves. Sometimes it's the arms that hold you through the nights you thought you wouldn't survive. And sometimes it's as simple and as complicated as choosing the person who chose you all along. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.